Hi, you guys. How are you? It is Safia here, and I am so excited to talk about this topic tonight. This topic is going to be how marketing is shifting and why you need to shift with it. So, this is a topic that I am super passionate about, and I'm really excited to talk about it because I think it's going to be super relevant, especially in this online space. So I'm not going to waste a lot of time because I know it's a little bit of an impromptu live, and I do have a client session starting soon. But I just really wanted to just get this in because I think it's really relevant and it's really important to talk about. So if you're watching, say hi, and if you're watching the replay, say hi as well, and let me know where you're joining me from, and just say hi. Okay. So what I wanted to talk about tonight is how marketing is shifting and why you need to shift with it. So now I do want to say that if you run an online business, you're probably experiencing this a lot, but it totally applies to the offline space as well. So here's the thing about marketing. I firmly believe that marketing, and I'm just going to dive right in, okay? I firmly believe that in this space, this online space, we see so many people just marketing to you, right? Like it is so constant. Your news feeds are so bombarded with people marketing to you. Your everywhere you turn, marketing, selling. In fact, I know that there's so many people out there that are now using tools online just to market their business. Now, listen, here's what I want to say. As a smart business owner, you obviously have to be marketing, right? Without marketing, there's no sales. Without sales, there's no business. So it goes without saying that you have to be marketing. But what I believe, and where things are shifting now that I'm seeing, is that marketing, I firmly believe, your business should be based on 20% marketing/sales, right? And 80% of it should actually be built on and based on connection. And so that is the thing that I'm seeing happening so frequently in this online space now, where people are just constantly marketing to you. There's always dropping a new offer. People are sending you DMs and private messages. And before they even take the time to build a connection with you, get to know you, get to know your business, they're pushing their offer down your feed, for lack of a better word, and they're marketing to you, right? I can't tell you how sick I am of that, because I will get messages from people on a daily basis, right? Who have no idea what kind of business model I am, who I serve, what I'm doing. And they come with some cookie cutter offer that they're putting out, and they send me direct messages, or they, send me a Facebook message, and they're promoting their thing and they're marketing to me without ever really knowing if I'm even right for their offer, right? So not only do I not buy their offer because I'm probably not right for it, but I'm probably never going to buy from those people in general because they never took the time to get to know me. And here's the thing, I'm not alone in this. More and more consumers are feeling the same way. More and more people are starving for connection, especially online. People are starving for connection because we as human beings, we're wired to connect. And the thing with this high technology space and social media space, it's become so high tech and so disconnected from really getting to know people. It's supposed to be this social space, but people aren't using social media for social anymore, especially in the business realm, right? People are using it to just pump their stuff out there, to force their ideas on you, to tell you how to think, to tell you what to buy, to tell you what you need, right? Instead of taking the time to get to know you and get to know your business. So what does this have to do with your business? What does this have to do with marketing? Marketing is shifting completely. And I've seen it, and I am so happy that it's shifting because I think it's so long overdue. But I will say that it is how I have always built my business. And marketing is shifting to connection-based marketing. Every single thing I do in my business is based on connection. It is connection-based marketing. And now more than ever, I'm seeing like the bigger companies, I'm seeing, bigger brands take the time to try to build connections. I'm seeing people who were launching a couple years ago, and I've watched their launches closely. I'm seeing now, hi Dana, how are you? Thanks for joining me. I'm seeing now how they're launching in such a different way. So a couple of years ago, people were just launching and pumping out their offer and just like landing in your inbox when it was time for that next launch or when it was time to sell something, right? Now I'm seeing big brands, which will remain nameless, taking the time to build that connection with their audience before the launch. And the reason why people are doing that now and the bigger brands are doing that now is because they've recognized that that old way is not working. They've recognized that people are starving for connection. And they've recognized that if they didn't shift the way that they were marketing to their people, they would be losing people. Like consumers are so much smarter now, right? And it takes longer for that conversion to happen, especially online, because people want that human touch. And so a lot of the bigger brands are now investing their time, and I've seen it with their Facebook ads, I've seen it with the way they're like doing their launches. They're investing more time on the visibility side of their campaigns, on the connection building side of their campaigns. And they're taking a lot of time to build that up before they actually launch their thing, and also like layering it in there and adding it into their launch process. Hey, Sean, how are you? Thanks for joining me. So one of the things that I always talk about with my clients, and one of the things that I teach and I'm obsessed with, is how to build your business based on connection-based marketing, right? So you want to be building connections throughout your business at every phase of your business. And for me, that looks like 3 separate areas, which I'm just going to kind of break down real quick for you. And for me, the first stage of the connection needs to start with the self, right? So for connection-based marketing to work and to work really well, it has to start with building conscious connections, right? With yourself first. So what does that look like? That looks like really, really being connected to your strengths, to your values, to how you want your business to look, to how you want to show up, just very, very consciously connected to who you are, what your core values are, what your strengths are, and what you want to do in this world, what your point of view, what are the things, how you want to change this world. When you are so deeply connected to that, it makes all the other pieces of your business and your marketing so much easier. When you are deeply connected to like that and you're so aligned with that, selling becomes a breeze, right? Well, we'll talk more about that in a little bit, but showing up and getting visible and spreading your message and sharing yourself freely becomes so much more easy because you're really connected to the thing that you're doing in this world, right? So that's the first layer. The second layer of the connection comes with your audience, right? And so that's when you are deeply and consciously connected to your audience. And so here's the one that I want to spend a little bit of time on. Sorry, getting a client call there. Here's the reason why I want to spend a little bit of time on the audience piece. And that's because I see this happening so often, over and over and over and over. And that is, people are not taking the time to really get to know their audience, right? People are entering this space and just like wanting to make their business like the next overnight success, wanting to go from 0 to 1 million followers, wanting to go from 0 to 6 figures, right? And they're not taking the time to really connect with their audience, to really understand what their audience needs, to really understand what their audience wants, right? And let me tell you something, you might have a little bit of success by throwing stuff out there and having the trendiest and, the most, on point branding and all that stuff, and you might be able to like get a couple of sales, but that is not a recipe for long-term success, right? That is a recipe for burnout, because you're going to be constantly trying to figure out what does your audience need, and you're going to constantly be trying to figure out why your offers aren't working, why people aren't converting, why you're not making sales, why you're getting all the wrong people, right? This is like the common thing that I see so often. When people are not connected to their audience, business becomes so hard, because it's like, if you don't know who you're selling to, who you're marketing to, who you're serving, you don't know what they want. How are you going to do that? How are you going to do that successfully? How are you going to do that? How are you going to do that in a way that's powerful? How are you going to do that in a way that makes them even want to buy your thing? So that's one layer of that. The second layer of the connecting to your audience piece is, like I said before, like, consumers are so smart now. Like, they're smarter now more than ever. And there's so much more noise in the market space. Like, there is a million people doing the same thing you're doing, right? And so they want to feel connected to the person they're buying from, right? They want to feel that that person knows them, understands their struggles, understands what they're going through, understands how to actually walk them through that. They want to feel that connection to you. They want to feel that connection to your brand. They want to feel that connection to the thing that you're offering before they invest with you. Because just as fast as you can offer your thing, so can the next person, right? It's not that difficult to find solutions out there now. Like, you can Google, you can hop on Facebook, you can hop on Instagram, and you can pretty much plug in anything that you're looking for, and you'll get dozens upon dozens of results, right? Because you have to sort of like, I mean, this is the marketplace. There's a market for all of these things. So I'm not saying, I mean, this live stream is not going to be about cutting through the noise and like standing out from the crowd and all that stuff. This live stream is really focused on when that person interacts with you and your brand, when you have an opportunity to connect with your ideal clients and your market. How are you doing that? How are you spending that time with them? Are you spending 80% of your time marketing to them, or are you spending 80% of your time connecting with them? Because, and I say this all the time, and you're going to hear me say this a lot. And if you follow me, you know I say this: when you connect, you convert. I got blurry. Every single time. When you connect, you convert, right? So if you're struggling with your conversion rates, go back and look at, how are you allocating your time? How are you spending your time? Are you doing 20% marketing and 80% connection, or 20% selling and 80% connection? Or are you flipping that? Like, are you selling 80% of the time and marketing to them 80% of the time and just pitching all the time instead of connecting, right? So that's that layer to it. And there's also the layer of really, again, understanding what they want. And that feeds into the next layer of the connection. So I mentioned that there's three. The first one is with yourself. The second is with your audience. And the third is with your business. And when I say with your business, that means the offers that you're putting out, the solutions that you're providing, the way you are strategizing in your business. So the strategies that you're using, the platforms that you're leveraging, the things that you are doing in your business, those fundamental pieces of your business, are you connected with that? Now, I've said this on other live streams before. You know, you could be trying to implement a strategy that somebody else has been doing, and it's just not working for you because that just doesn't align for you, right? Or you could be thinking you need to be doing live streams and you need to be posting on Instagram and doing all these different things, but it's not your best way of connecting. Let me say this differently, or you're not feeling connected to that, right? So if you're not connected to that strategy, you're not going to show up for that strategy, or that strategy is not going to work for you long term, right? So, and your offers are such a huge part of that, right? So if you're not connected to the offers you're putting out into the world, if you're not connected to the products you're launching, the things that you're putting out, it's not going to stick, right? So I think that what's happening here in this market space is I'm seeing more and more big companies actually move towards this connection-based marketing. And when you see the big companies do it, it's really validating because you know that they have the data and they have the dollars to do it so, right? Like, you know that the big companies can afford to do the research and gather the data on what's working and what's not, right? So when they're doing it and they're validating that connection is the way that marketing is shifting, then we know that there's something there, right? And so I'm obsessed with kind of looking at how bigger brands and how other businesses are seeing success and getting results. Like I mentioned, I'm seeing so many of the bigger brands do their launches, and I'm seeing how differently they're launching now versus how they were launching before. Bigger brands and celebrity sort of coaches out there where they would just couple times a year, they would just launch and then you really wouldn't see them much. Now you see them engaging more in their Facebook groups. Now you see them really trying to connect and build more with their people, because that's what's working now, you guys, right? So I wanted to talk about that because it's super, super important. It's this topic I'm completely passionate about. Everything in my business is built on connection. Like, you've heard me say that before. I teach connection-based marketing. It is never gonna ever phase out. Like, it is the one strategy that is always gonna work. You go back to like the beginning of time, right? When people were knocking on doors and selling encyclopedias and vacuums, you didn't feel a connection to the person who was knocking on that door and the product that they were selling, right? You weren't gonna buy. So connection, connection, connection. It is the way marketing is shifting. If you're not taking enough time to connect in your business, then I invite you to start looking at the areas in your business where you need to be implementing stronger connection-based marketing, where you need to be looking for more conscious connections in your business. If you need help with that, if you are struggling with that, if you don't know where to begin, then I invite you to hop on a call with me, because that is my jam. That's the thing that I'm so excited about, right? Building those connections starts with not just like, how are you like engaging with them on Facebook, or how are you taking the time to go message them on Instagram? It goes beyond that, right? I firmly believe that the connection should happen before, during, and even after the sales process. And like I said before, I firmly believe that we should be connecting 80% of the time and marketing or selling 20% of the time. So if you need help with that, if you know that something about this feels right, if you know that you have been marketed to in a way that kind of like was like, I mean, if you've gotten one of those messages where people were like, hey, are you interested in this thing that I have to offer? And they never took the time to actually get to know you, and that completely rubbed you the wrong way, then I'm guessing that connection is something that you value as well. And so if you know that that's something in your business that you want to start incorporating, you want to learn how to build stronger connections with your audience, stronger connection with yourself, and stronger connections through your offers and your strategies in your business, and you're kind of not sure where to start, then I invite you to hop on a call for me. I'm going to put my link to my discovery call in the comments. If you're watching the replay and you have any questions, or you have any feedback or any sort of input you'd like to add to this, go ahead and add that into the comments, and I go back and I answer each one of them. Let me see if there's anything else that I missed, because I had some notes that I wanted to make sure that I touched on. Yeah. Yeah. So that is it. Yep, that's about it. Oh, there's one thing I did want to say, and let me just take 2 minutes to kind of back up and say that. And I think that, like, for a lot of people who might be feeling like, well, I know that I should be connecting. Like, I know that everybody talks about connection and building relationships and things like that, but it just feels too sort of like fluffy, and it just feels too like not tangible enough. Um, just know that, like, that's not to say that something, here's how I want to say this. I want to say this like, if you know that there's value to this whole connection thing, right? And that you should be making more of a conscious effort to connect in your business and all these 3 different levels that I told you about. But you still feel like it's so sort of far out of reach and something just sort of kind of like, it's nice, but it's not necessarily strategic or tangible, then just know that we have actually been taught, like, we've been taught that systems and strategies and statistics and like hard, tangible things like that, that's what actually drives business, right? And that when you think in that way and you focus on those things, that's what a smart business owner will do. And so I do want to say that there is 100%, right? There is definitely a space and a place and a time for systems and strategies and logic and statistics in your business. But that's where so many online business owners and entrepreneurs are getting it wrong, is because they're stopping there, right? They're just looking at, okay, how can I like increase my followers? How can I like get more leads? How can I grow my list? How can I get more people into my Facebook group? How can I do all of these different things? How can I use Facebook group as just a strategy? How can I use Instagram as just a strategy? How can I just use these things are just strategies, just marketing tools? Again, I'm not saying they're not marketing tools. I'm not saying that they're not, there's like, you don't need strategies, of course, it's 100%, it's important, right? But what I'm saying here is that we need to lead from that place of connection first, right? Like, approaching your marketing as a purely logistical and methodical thing in your business is not what's going to get you results long term. What's going to get you results long term is when you use these tools in your business, i.e., Facebook groups, Instagram, videos that you're putting out, whatever tool, whatever marketing thing you're doing, when you use that, right, as a way to truly connect with and learn from your market, that is how you're going to get long-term results, because that's how you're going to know. That's how you build that know, like, and trust, right? That's how people establish safety and trust with you. That's how people feel like connected to you. And people buy from people they like. People buy from people they trust. People buy from people that they feel connected to, right? I mean, I can share so many stories about just myself from the consumer's perspective, and even myself from the business owner's perspective, how like just connection was the secret for all of my conversions. And let me tell you, I kill it at conversions. And I know that because I know my conversion rate is insanely great. And I know that because my focus when it comes to sales is always connection, right? My focus when it comes to anything I do in my marketing is always connection. And I think that's why it's always worked for me and it's always worked for my clients. And that's where I'm seeing so many of the other big brands and businesses, like I mentioned several times on this call, really shifting to that place of connection now, really shifting into building connections and growing their business from a place of connection-based marketing. And I predict that we're going to see a lot more of that. So the best thing you can do for your business at this point is to start to build those connection pieces into your business to start a focus on connection-based marketing, right? So again, if you need help with this, if you're kind of like, what, where do I start? I'm going to put the link to my calendar in my discovery call link inside the comments, and feel free to connect with me, and we can chat about how we can make that possible for you too. All right. Again, if you're watching the replay, leave your comments. You leave your comments and your questions in the chat box, and I will go ahead and respond to all of those. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.